Good morning, buenos dias. I just wanted to record my process for working and starting a garden bed. I'm a new gardener and I'm probably going to consider myself a new gardener 10 years from now because I'm learning something new every day. I start off with a little notepad and I start jotting down my ideas. Later on, I have a sketch pad that I draw out the garden bed once I'm done, a little bit better with more detail. Um, so I cut this bed a few years ago. It's sort of narrow, it's not very deep because I have a gate on this side and I want to be able to, and it's a large gate, and I want to be able to have, be able to bring larger, vehicles or something in this area if I ever need to. However, I probably could cut a little bit more space on this side. This fence, this is on the south side of my property, but the garden bed itself is north facing with sun coming in from the west. So most of the day this area is sun. There's even sun coming into this part over here, which gets a little bit more shade because I have a big pine tree. But still, because the pine tree is very tall, there's sun that comes in underneath. And it's, like I said, it's shaded out most of the day, but in the middle of the day, this area here gets more sun. I have a June magnolia that got some black mold and it took a real hit. So I want to get it in the ground as soon as possible. Um, I was able to treat it, but I want to give it a chance of surviving. And so I'm planting it in the middle of the bed. And in the future, it's going to probably provide a little bit more shade to this area and grow above the fence, and give my neighbor a nice a view of the flowers of the June magnolia. She doesn't have anything here. She's in her 80s, so I'm hoping she'll be around long enough to see the tree grow up and enjoy the flowers. So most of these plants here are hydrangeas. I love hydrangeas. It's my first favorite flower. It's the only flower I had in my yard before I even became a quote unquote gardener, that survived and would come back every year. And it was an old fashioned hydrangea. So it's my first favorite flower, but I also love camellias. I've learned about camellias, and this is a treasured plant I have in a pot right now that I'm going to put in the ground. And it's going to be sheltered here by two fences, sort of in the shade. And it's red. My backyard has mostly warm colors, the oranges, the reds, the golds. And some of these hydrangeas are gonna are in the pink family, but I don't think it will throw off the color scheme too much because they do change over time. Hydrangeas change color over time. And these two actually, the Limetta and the Incredible, are gonna stay within that color range. And I also ordered a hydrangea snowflake. A snowflake hydrangea is an oak leaf hydrangea, which gets quite large, 6 to 10 feet. And I ordered other few more plants that still haven't arrived. I ordered the the froggy big leaf hydrangea, magical Amazon hydrangea, the kimono big leaf hydrangea. And I did that because I want to challenge myself. I already have three macrophylla hydrangeas that have never flowered for me. Those are the first hydrangeas I have ever bought. I went to a garden center to just pick them up because they were cheap. They were, I think, $4 each, and they're beautiful flowers, but they just have never bloomed for me. And so I'm challenging myself once again by getting these big leaf hydrangeas that take a little bit more work. But like I said, I love hydrangeas, so it's going to be sort of a hydrangea bed mixed in with some camellias. I have an azalea, I have some hostas, have some steeds, hollies that died back, and I'm teaching them, I'm helping them grow back up. So they're going to take over, some of these corners to add some, winter interest, that evergreen, and include the azalea, I think, is also evergreen. So it should look really pretty all season long. The hydrangeas all bloom at different times. And I'm probably going to put in a bunch of bulbs behind these hostas to have that springtime, that spring look too. I ordered quite a few bulbs from Color Blends, and I'm planning to put those in. So I'm really excited about preparing this bed. You know, I do work most of the day. I'm a working person, so the majority of my day I spend, you know, usually on a computer. So I do this in bits and pieces. So everything takes a lot longer for me. And like I'll take a half hour to weed, or I'll take another half hour to prune. So I just, you know, I get through the garden and I start, you know, my maintenance takes quite a while. So one section is probably looking terrible and another section is looking fabulous. And it just goes round and round until eventually, I think, until I fill up these beds and the plants grow in, and making my job a lot easier with regard to weeding and maintenance. I have some compost that I'm going to put in the holes. I also have biotone. I have some existing mulch I'm going to mix up with soil, and then I probably have to add more mulch to this area. So the first step would be to start weed this area and prepare the beds for planting, space out my plants, and then dig the holes, and then do the mulching and water them in. So let me just go over the plants really quickly. So I have a hydrangea snowflake, quickfire, pinky winky, incredible, limetta, all proven winners, firelight tidbit, and like I said, eventually I'm going to be getting additional hydrangeas here, the froggy, magical Amazon, and the kimono. So let's see. Some of those are smaller, and I'm probably going to have to tuck them in to this shade bed over here. So sort of continuing the hydrangea look into this, to this section over here. So I'm pretty excited about this again, and just sharing this experience. And hopefully I'll be able to record it, you know, as I go along. That's it for today.